All right, so we're back, and I'm ready to dive into another week of NBA action. This week's games were, well, let's just say they were full of
Yeah,
surprises.
definitely a wild ride.
We saw some pretty unexpected outcomes, close calls, major upsets, and some players really stepped up in a big way. Would you say that's accurate?
Absolutely. This past week was a great reminder of just how unpredictable the NBA can be. Any team can really seize the moment on any given night, and we saw that play out in some really exciting ways.
Right, and it's not always about the big names either. Sometimes it's those under the radar players who really make a difference. But speaking of big names, we have to start with the Golden State Warriors versus the Detroit Pistons.
That's right. Always a big matchup.
On paper, you might think easy win for the Warriors, right?
Ugh.
But this one was way closer than anyone expected.
Yeah, the Pistons really put up a fight. They were scrappy. They played with a lot of energy.
The final score was 115 to 110, so just a 5-point difference. I mean, that's pretty incredible considering the Warriors' reputation.
Definitely. A lot of that had to do with Cade Cunningham. He was absolutely phenomenal for the Pistons, leading the charge with 32 points.
Oh, yeah, he was unstoppable at times. I mean, he was hitting shots from everywhere, driving to the basket, drawing fouls. He was a real problem for the Warriors' defense.
No doubt. He's a rising star for sure. And this game was a real statement from him.
Yeah, he's definitely one to watch. But speaking of impressive performances, let's talk about Stephen Curry for a second.
Of course. The man's a legend.
He had, what some might call an off night shooting. He wasn't hitting those three-pointers like we're used to seeing.
It happens to the best of them.
Right, but here's the thing. He still led the Warriors to victory. And it wasn't just about scoring for him in this game. It was about making those smart plays, those decisions that don't always show up on the stat sheet but make all the difference.
That's a great point. We saw Curry's basketball IQ on full display in this game. Even when his shots weren't falling, he was drawing defensive attention, opening up opportunities for his teammates. He was finding those passing lanes, dishing out assists, really orchestrating the offense beautifully. And
Oh.
that's what veteran leadership looks like.
It's almost more impressive to see that kind of strategic playmaking, wouldn't you say? It shows a deep understanding of the game, a willingness to put the team first.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's not just about scoring points. It's about making the right play at the right time, even if it means sacrificing personal glory for the good of the team.
Yeah.
And Curry embodies that mentality perfectly.
For sure. Now, speaking of impressive team play, let's move on to the Boston Celtics taking on the Los Angeles Lakers. Another classic matchup, ending with a 111 to 101 win for the Celtics. So Tatum and Brown, they were on fire, combining for a whopping 71 points.
Yeah, they were putting on a show.
But you know what? The real story here, and I can't emphasize this enough, was their defense. The Celtics played some seriously locked down defense in this game.
Totally agree. They were all over the Lakers, shutting down passing lanes, forcing turnovers, making it incredibly difficult for them to get any kind of offensive rhythm going.
It was like they were reading each other's minds out there.
Their communication was excellent, their rotations were crisp, and they were just relentless in their effort. Even LeBron James and Luka Doncic, two of the best players in the league, really struggled to find their groove against this Celtics defense.
It makes you wonder if we sometimes focus too much on offensive fireworks and forget about the power of a truly locked-in defense.
Right. Offense gets the attention, the highlights, the big scores, but defense wins championships, as they say. And the Celtics really exemplified that in this game.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Now get ready for this. We're about to dive into the upset of the week, maybe even the season so far. The Orlando Magic, snapping a 5-game losing streak, took down the Milwaukee Bucks.
Wow, I'm still processing that one.
I know, right? It was an absolute shocker. The final score was 111 to 109, just barely edging out the Bucks.
I mean, you have to give the Magic credit. They played with an energy and a hunger we haven't seen from them in a while.
Absolutely. They capitalized on every mistake the Bucks made, and they never let up, even when Milwaukee tried to mount a comeback. And you can't talk about this game without mentioning that heart-stopping finish.
Oh, man, that ending was insane. I was literally on the edge of my seat.
Me too. So Damian Lillard, he had the chance to win it for the Bucks at the buzzer, his three-pointer, and it rims out. Can you believe it?
Those are the moments that make you fall in love with basketball all over again. The tension, the drama, the sheer unpredictability.
You said it. And for the Magic, this win just shows incredible resilience, that ability to rise to the occasion and pull off the impossible.
It's a reminder that on any given night, any team can win in the NBA. And that's what makes it so exciting.
Exactly. Now let's talk about some of the standout players in this game. Paolo Banchero, he was incredible for the Magic, dropping 29 points.
Yeah, he was a scoring machine.
And Cole Anthony, he had 22 points, including some clutch plays down the stretch that really helped seal the deal for the Magic.
Those two really brought the intensity and the focus. They were contagious, and it seemed like everyone on the Magic fed off their energy.
You could feel it in the arena, too. The crowd was electric. Now, on the Bucks side, you got to give Giannis Antetokounmpo credit. He put up a monstrous 37 points.
He was a beast out there.
But even that wasn't enough to overcome the Magic's collective effort. They were just playing on another level that night.
It's true. Sometimes individual brilliance isn't enough to overcome a team that's firing on all cylinders and playing with that kind of heart and determination. All right, ready for another wild one?
Hit me with it.
We're going from an upset to a major comeback story.
Oh, I love those. Which game are we talking about?
The Chicago Bulls were down 17 points at one point against the Miami Heat.
You're kidding me. 17 points. That's a pretty big hole to dig yourself out of.
It is, but somehow they managed to claw their way back and pull out a 114-109 victory.
Wow, talk about mental toughness. I mean, to be down by that much and then not only come back, but actually win the game, that's pretty remarkable.
It's a testament to their resilience, their adaptability, and their ability to just stay focused and not panic when things weren't going their way.
But was their 17-point deficit a sign of some early defensive lapses? How sustainable is a comeback strategy like that? I mean, you can't count on that every game.
That's a fair point. While their comeback was impressive, you're right, they can't rely on that every game. They definitely need to tighten up their defense early on to avoid falling behind like that in the future. Consistent success requires a more balanced approach.
So they showed they can dig themselves out of a hole, but avoiding the hole in the first place is key.
Exactly. It's a valuable lesson they can take away from this game.
Absolutely. Now, who were some of the key players in this comeback?
Well, Josh Giddey was instrumental for the Bulls, leading the team with 26 points.
He always seems to come up big when they need him.
And Kobe White had himself a game, too, putting up 21 points, including a crucial three-point play late in the game that really shifted the momentum in the Bulls' favor. Do you remember that one?
Oh, yeah, that was huge. For those who might not know, a three-point play is when a player scores a basket and is fouled, earning a free throw attempt. So it's not just 2 points, it's 3. And in a close game like that, those extra points can be a real difference maker.
Exactly. It energized the Bulls and seemed to deflate the Heat a bit. It was a turning point for sure.
Now, what about the Heat? Anyone stand out on their side?
Bam Adebayo and Andrew Wiggins both had strong performances, but the Bulls' team effort ultimately prevailed. It was a collective win for Chicago. Everyone contributing, everyone stepping up when it mattered most.
Yeah, sometimes that's how it goes. Even when individual players have great games, it's not always enough to overcome a team that's truly playing as a unit. Which brings us to our final game of the night. And get this. It went down to the wire, decided in the final seconds.
Oh, I love those games. Nothing like a little bit of drama to end the night.
Right. So we've got the Washington Wizards squeaking out a 118-117 victory against the Toronto Raptors.
Talk about a nail-biter.
Yeah.
The lead changed hands multiple times in those closing minutes, and it all came down to that final play. The suspense was unbelievable.
Oh, I know. I was on the edge of my seat. Jamal Shed, he drives to the basket for what could have been the game-winning layup for the Raptors.
It looked good in real time.
Right. But then they go to video review, and after what felt like an eternity, the officials rule that the shot was taken just a fraction of a second after the buzzer.
Oh, man, that's tough.
Heartbreak for the Raptors, elation for the Wizards.
Yeah, I can only imagine what was going through the players' minds in those moments.
What did you think? Did you think he got the shot off in time?
It was so close. I could see why the Raptors fans might be a little frustrated, but honestly, these situations really highlight the increasing role of technology and officiating, you know?
Right. It's the double-edged sword in a way.
These close calls, they're incredibly difficult to judge in real time. And video replay, it allows for a more accurate assessment, but it also adds a whole other layer of suspense and sometimes even more controversy.
Totally. We're trading one kind of debate for another. What are your thoughts on that balance between human judgment and technology in officiating?
It's a complex issue. Technology is a powerful tool. It's not a magic bullet. There's always going to be a human element to officiating, and we need to be mindful of that.
Very true. Okay, so before that controversial final play, we got to talk about Jordan Poole. He was on fire for the Wizards, putting up an impressive 34 points.
He was carrying the team offensively for stretches there.
And Bilal Coulibaly, He had himself a double-double, 18 points and 10 rebounds.
He really impacted the game on both ends of the court. His rebounding was especially crucial, giving the Wizards second chances on offense and limiting the Raptors' opportunities.
That hustle makes a huge difference.
Absolutely. Well, there you have it. Another week of NBA action in the books. And wow, what a week it was.
It's amazing, isn't it? We saw upsets, comebacks, down-to-the-wire finishes. We saw established stars shine and young players step up. And it's a great reminder that even when those star players have an off night, they can still find ways to lead their team to victory.
It's all about finding ways to contribute, to make an impact, regardless of whether you're scoring 30 points or making those hustle plays that don't always show up in the box score. It's about being a team player and understanding that every possession matters.
Yeah, it really is. And speaking of finding ways to contribute beyond just scoring, did you see that Magic and Bucks game?
Oh, are you talking about that crazy upset?
Yeah, I mean, Paolo Banchero, he was a scoring machine for the Magic, but he also showed some great court vision.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
He made some impressive passes and even grabbed some crucial rebounds down the stretch.
That's right. It seems like a lot of these younger players are really starting to embrace that well-rounded style of play.
Yeah, they're really understanding that being a valuable contributor means more than just putting the ball in the basket. Absolutely. And speaking of unpredictable, did you see those nail-biting final seconds in the Wizards versus Raptors game?
Oh, you talk about that controversial call at the buzzer?
Yeah, the one where the officials ruled that Jamal Shedd's shot was after the buzzer, even after they went to video review.
It was a tough one for Raptors fans to swallow, that's for sure. But, those situations, they really highlight the increasing role of technology in officiating.
Right. It's like, on one hand, video replay helps get those close calls, right?
Yeah.
But on the other hand, it creates this whole other level of tension and sometimes even more controversy.
Right. It's like we're trading one type of debate for another.
Exactly. So what are your thoughts on that whole balance between human judgment and technology when it comes to officiating?
Well, it's a really complex issue. I mean, technology is a powerful tool, but it's not a magic solution.
Yeah.
There will always be a human element to officiating, and we need to be mindful of that.
That's a good point. But it's definitely fascinating to see how the game continues to evolve with these technological advancements. And speaking of evolving, did you notice how some teams really adapted their game plans mid-game this week?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Remember the Bulls? They were down by 17 points to the Heat, and then they come roaring back to win it.
Oh, I was just thinking about that. That comeback was a testament to their mental toughness, their ability to adjust their strategy on the fly.
It was really impressive.
They didn't panic, they stayed focused, and they executed their game plan effectively.
I think they just flipped a switch.
Right. And Josh Giddey and Coby White, they were instrumental in that comeback.
Yeah.
They really showcased their scoring ability and their knack for making those clutch plays.
They really did. Now, on the Heat side, Adebayo and Wiggins, they had solid performances.
Yeah, they did.
But in the end, it just goes to show that individual brilliance doesn't always guarantee a win.
It's true. It's a team sport. And sometimes even the best players can't overcome a team that's playing together and executing their game plan effectively.
Yeah, it really goes back to that old saying, there's no I in team.
I like that.
And that brings us back to this idea of finding ways to contribute beyond just scoring.
Yeah, I think this week's games really highlighted the importance of teamwork, strategic playmaking, and that it factor that certain players bring to the court,
Right. It's about those players who elevate their teammates and make everyone around them better.
Exactly. It's been a masterclass in the subtle nuances of basketball.
It really has. So as we start to wrap up our deep dive into this week's NBA action, what are some final takeaways you want to leave our listeners with?
Well, I think the biggest thing is to never underestimate the power of teamwork and collective effort.
That's so true.
We saw multiple examples this week of teams that overcame individual brilliance through cohesive play and a shared determination to win.
And that's what it's all about, right?
Absolutely. Basketball is a team sport, and even the most talented individuals can't win consistently without the support and contributions of their teammates. And the second thing is, I think this week really highlighted the evolving nature of the game.
In what way?
Players are becoming more versatile, strategies are adapting, and technology is playing a bigger role than ever before.
Yeah, it's an exciting time to be a basketball fan for sure.
It is, and I can't wait to see what unfolds in the weeks ahead.
Me neither. This week was packed with surprises, dramatic finishes, and those aha moments that make you appreciate the depth and complexity of this sport.
And as we head into the next round of games, I encourage everyone to pay attention to those subtle but impactful contributions.
Likewise.
The hustle plays, the defensive stops, the smart passes, those are the things that often make the difference between a good team and a great one.
It's like those little things that don't always make the highlight reel, but they can really swing the momentum of a game.
Oh, absolutely. And, speaking of those players who make an impact beyond scoring, I was thinking about a guy like Draymond Green,
Oh, yeah, Draymond.
known for his defense, his hustle, his ability to get his teammates fired up.
It's like he's a coach on the court.
Right. And, we talked about Stephen Curry earlier.
Yeah, how he was facilitating the offense even though he wasn't having his best shooting night.
Exactly. And I think Draymond Green kind of embodies that same spirit.
Yeah.
It's not always about scoring the most points. It's about doing whatever it takes to help your team win.
Absolutely. And, another player who comes to mind is Marcus Smart on the Celtics.
Oh, yeah. Great example.
His defensive intensity, his leadership, those are huge factors in their success.
He's like the heart and soul of that team.
And those contributions, they're just as valuable as a 30-point game sometimes,
No doubt. It's about understanding the flow of the game, recognizing opportunities, and making the smartest play possible.
Even if it means passing up a shot for a better one.
Right. It's like they're playing chess out there, thinking several moves ahead.
That's a great analogy. So the next time you're watching a game, I encourage you to really pay attention to those subtle moments of brilliance.
Yeah, don't just focus on the scoring.
Look for the defensive stops, the screens, the hustle plays that create those scoring opportunities for others.
Those are the things that often determine the outcome of a game, even if they don't end up on SportsCenter.
Right. It's a reminder that basketball is a team sport, and every player on the court has the potential to be a difference maker. Well, I think that about wraps it up for this week's Deep Dive.
Yeah, another exciting week of NBA action in the books.
And I have a feeling it's only going to get more intense as we head into the playoffs.
Oh, I can't wait.
So, to all our listeners out there, keep your eyes on the court and your minds engaged. We'll catch you next time for another deep dive into the world of basketball.